What's up and welcome to FPL Today. I'm your host JNO, welcome to the channel and welcome to what we learned for Game Week 6. This is a series where we look back at last game week and see what we can implement to keep improving our FPL sides for the 2017-2018 season. But before we get into this video, I just want to say a massive thank you for 4,000 subscribers. We're about 4,050 now, so thank you guys so much for the support and let's get on with the video. So we are starting off with the Watford versus Man City game where Man City won 6-0. Man City have scored a ridiculous amount of goals in the previous 3 fixtures. It's been 3 games, 15 goals and no goals conceded, so Man City are on form, but they were on form at the beginning of last season and then tailed off, so potentially this form isn't going to continue. However, there have been some standout players, one of which has been a standout player in this and the previous game week, so we should really take notice. That player is of course Sergio Aguero, who played an amazing game, managing to get 3 goals and 1 assist. He's basically reminded the whole Premier League about his goal scoring prowess, especially with that 3rd goal with a mazy run through the Watford defence and coolly slotted away in the far corner. Gabriel Jesus also did enough to remind us of his credentials, but Aguero was the standout player in this game, managing to put away plenty of his chances, and anyone that did have Aguero in their side was absolutely laughing for this game week. De Bruyne doesn't feature in the list of players here today that I'm going to focus on, but De Bruyne also seems to be playing further forward than he has in previous games, potentially meaning against weaker opposition he won't be playing that deep lying playmaker role and he may be able to get a bit more forward. Again, De Bruyne got points as well. When there's 6 goals, there's plenty of points to share around, punishing those of us that transferred him out after game week 4. The other 2 players that really scored big points though in the Manchester City versus Watford game was Nicolas Otamendi at 5.6 million. He managed to get 12 points, getting 1 goal and a clean sheet. He's only at a minute per chance at 90 minutes though. That was his only chance in the game, so he didn't really suggest that he's going to be getting plenty of chances in matches. And David Silva coming at 8.3 million, making those of us that spent the money on Kevin De Bruyne instead of him look a bit silly. That's 11 points in this game with 2 assists and 2 bonus points. He's managed to create 5 chances in this game, 2 of them being big chances, and his minute per chance creation ratio is at 15.6 minutes. So those 2 with Aguero at 11.5 million, who got 20 points, 3 goals, assists and 3 bonus points with a minute per chance at 11.3, were the big standout players. But another side note is Raheem Sterling scored for the 3rd time in 3 games as well, so there's plenty of options to pick from this Man City side. With Crystal Palace at home in the next fixture, not having a Man City player looks like a really risky prospect, so that is probably where my transfer will be spent to get someone from that Man City side in. I just don't know which one. Ideally it would be Aguero, but I'm not sure I've got the cash. Moving on to the next game, and we're looking at the Newcastle versus Stoke game where Newcastle managed to win 2-1 at home, and the players that stood out from the Newcastle side were Matt Ritchie at 5.9 million with 11 points, getting 2 assists and 3 bonus points, creating 3 chances, which gives him a minute per chance creation at 30 minutes. He looks like he's got a great quality of delivery, and with players like Lascelles, who we're going to get onto, in the box, and forwards that potentially could up their goal conversion, because at the moment their goal conversion is pretty poor. Matt Ritchie could get plenty of assists this season, so he's definitely one to watch at under 6 million. And then we have Lascelles, the captain at Newcastle, at 4.6 million. He's just experienced a price rise from 4.5. He's managed to score 2 in 2 games, managed to get 8 points and getting 1 goal, getting a minute per chance of 45 minutes. And he looks like he is really good from crosses and set pieces in the box, looking like he can win headers all over the place. If he keeps this up, he could be a bargain at his price, despite the fact that Newcastle might not keep that many clean sheets. However, the issue with Newcastle at the moment is their strikers looked really wasteful. Joselu really should have scored at least once in that game, and he's one of the strikers who's had the most chances in the Premier League at the moment, and he's only managed to put 1 away. That's 1 less than Harry Kane. Harry Kane has had more chances though. So if Joselu can up his goal scoring record or his goal conversion, then potentially Joselu at a very cheap price could be one we could look at. But the way he's playing at the moment, there's the potential he could be dropped for someone like Dwight Gale or Mitrovic. The next game we're looking at is Bournemouth versus Brighton, and it's another 2-1 for the home side. Bournemouth managing to beat Brighton, but both sides showed some promise and some players that could be very, very good for us in the Fantasy Premier League. Not quite getting onto this list is Solomon March on the left side of the Brighton side. He looks a very, very promising player coming at a cheap price, but it was his teammate Pascal Gross who managed to steal the show again at 5.6 million. He got 7 points with 1 assist. He did look like he picked up an injury though, so potentially he he may be out for a little bit. You have to do some research on that. But his minute per chance creation score for this game was 19.3 minutes. Ignore the graphic, I believe it does just say minutes per chance. But it was 19.3 minutes for every chance he created for his teammate. He, like Matt Ritchie, looks like to have a great quality of delivery, so he could potentially be raking in the assists. But two Bournemouth guys stood out as well. Jordan Ibe only played 25 minutes, and at 4.9 million, if he can break into the first side, he managed to get 7 points in 25 minutes, getting 2 assists. And the 2 assists he got looked very calm and calculated, and showed perhaps a bit of maturity has creeped into his game, because he created 2 great chances with 2 great passes. His minute per chance creation, 2 goals created in 25 minutes, was at 12.5 minutes. And then Sermon at 4.5 million, very, very cheap, has only missed 1 game this season. He got 10 points with 1 goal scored, getting 3 bonus points, but his minute per chance was at 90 minutes, so he only scored the 1 chance he had on goal. And of course, Jermaine Defoe managed to break his duck as well, scoring for Bournemouth in the Premier League. Potentially he could go on to score a bagful like he has done in seasons past. The next game is the game that pretty much destroyed my game week, because I don't have Romelu Lukaku. Of course, I'm speaking of Man United versus Everton, where Man United won 4-0. They have scored more than 2 goals in every single Premier League game they've played, and the players that stood out, one of course was Romelu Lukaku, 11.7 million. He got 2 goals. He got 1 goal and 1 assist, which got him 12 points in total, with 3 bonus points added onto that, and a minute per chance at 22.5. But Antonio Valencia scored an absolute screamer of a goal, probably the best goal of the game week. He scored a ridiculous volley from outside the box, half volley, which rocketed into the top 5 corner. At 6.5 million, he got 15 points for the game week, with 1 goal, a clean sheet, and also 3 bonus points. With a minute per chance at 90 minutes, it was his only chance, but man did he take it with aplomb. Back on to Romelu Lukaku though, he is really annoying me. When I watch him in game, he looks very, very wasteful. I know he's scored 5, which is top in the league with Sergio Aguero, and I know he's had less chances than Harry Kane, but the quality of chances that Man United side are creating him, he should have scored more. He should be potentially 2 or 3 goals above Sergio Aguero in the goal scoring records. But however, with his percentage owned in the Fantasy Premier League at above 50%, if you don't have him and he gets a goal and assist, it completely destroys your game week. I had Mkhitaryan, so I managed to get that goal, but that didn't really help me. I just went from being above average for the game week and rising slightly in the rankings to a massive, massive drop. So Romelu Lukaku looks like he might be vital, because that Man United side are creating so many chances. Looking at the Everton side, Cuco Martina looks like he could be a good option when Everton's fixtures get better. He was getting forward quite often down the right. Wayne Rooney definitely was up for this fixture as well. If he can keep that level of performance up, he will get more goals and could be a great FPL option. And Mkhitaryan seems nailed on in that advanced role as well, so he should be Man United's midfielder of choice for you if you're looking to replace Paul Pogba. And then finally, some other performers of the game week that I feel I should mention to you that necessarily weren't in games that were that interesting. Lucas Fabianski from Swansea at 4.5 million. He had a great game, getting 11 points, a clean sheet and 8 saves. He made some great saves against Spurs, and Swansea's defence looked quite drilled and organised, so it might be difficult for sides to break them down, and Fabianski could do what Tom Heaton did last year, which is be a part of a defence that does concede a lot of chances but manages to make sure those chances come from angles that are unlikely to score or from distance. So Fabianski could be a great shout for a cheap goalkeeper. And then there's a player I don't know the name of, Depoitre, probably butchered that ridiculously, but at 5.2 million, he got 9 points this game week with 1 goal and 3 bonus points, getting a minute per chance at 44.5 minutes, so not many chances. However, he did look very strong with decent pace and looks like he could take advantage of the balls put into the box by the Huddersfield side, and could play very well next to Steve Mooney of Huddersfield as well. Anyway guys, thank you so much for tuning into this episode as always. Today we should also have seen my team for game week 6, so go check that out if you haven't seen that. Check out the links in the description down below if you want to support the channel. We've just recently had a new Patreon, so go check out the Patreon page if you want to keep seeing this channel grow. Hit that like button to support the video as always. I've been JNO, this has been FPL Today, and remember, it's all about the game.